Is dropping truth bombs. Take a listen.
I mean, doesn't the Quran say that men have authority over women?
Well, don't they? I mean, according to your own narrative, men have been running the show. The feminists are asking for their so-called rights. From who exactly? Okay, if you didn't have what you call patriarchy, then what you would have is a hell on earth for women. Because clearly, women do not have the power to coerce men, to force men, to make men deal with them this way or that way. If you're out somewhere and a man starts to chat you up and you don't want to be chatted up, what do? You tell him, I have a boyfriend, I'm married, and he goes away. You have to conjure up an imaginary man to get him to back off, because 9 times out of 10, only a man can keep another man in check, because men are inherently more dangerous than women. Instead of patriarchy, replace that word with bodyguard. What makes more sense? For you to be my bodyguard or for me to be your bodyguard? Who do you think is more capable of protecting who? From who? If men didn't protect women, who would? Why, men would do whatever they wanted. And isn't your bodyguard responsible for you? Shouldn't you listen to him if he says, for example, don't go here, don't go there, or let's take this route instead of that route because it's safer? Isn't that authority? But he's doing it for you. Would you feel resentment about that authority? That's irrational. Look, you cannot dismiss the importance of physicality towards you. Which one of the two of you is more likely to be afraid? Who's going to be scared of who? But see, you in the West have confused this. The feminists have confused this. The power imbalance. That literal physical power imbalance. That imbalance in the ability to coerce and exert force and to be violent. It's just a fact and a reality of the power imbalance between men and women. But your culture is in love with power. It's in love with force. It's in love with violence. So to you, whoever has the greater capacity for violence, whoever has the greater capacity for being dangerous, then that person is better. The one who can exert his will is better. Whoever has the power to force people to do something is better. And whoever is weaker is less. It's because you admire power so much, and you admire force, and you admire the ability to coerce, that you find yourself resenting that men have authority over women, or the idea, the concept of men having authority over women, because you think it's unfair. You think that women are being deprived. But remove that authority and see how deprived you'll be. Remove that authority and you will be in danger. You will be deprived of your safety. You'll be deprived of your security, your freedom, and maybe your life. You invent a concept, this concept of equality, and treat it as sacred, and you believe in it religiously, with religious devotion, and you demand that everyone believes in it, and no one can dare doubt the reality and the holy truth of the concept of equality, even though all evidence that you are exposed to on a daily basis disproves that concept. So you'll make fun of us and you'll look down on us and you'll insult our intelligence for believing in something that you say we don't have any proof for. Meanwhile, you're believing in something for which all of the proof that exists disproves it. You see how incoherent your thinking processes are?
You see, all modern feminism has to their advantage are words. And a lot of people might say the pen is mightier than the sword. That's true to an extent. I'm a writer. I know the power of words, especially well-written words. However, in order for words to be effective, they have to make sense. There has to be truth in those words. And without that truth, you're just dealing with Disney. And that's what the feminist movement is, basically. Disney. Because there's no truth behind it. If you take away the patriarchy, what does feminism have? Nothing. Women would be in danger without the patriarchy. The patriarchy is what keeps us safe. Because if you take those laws away, again, we have nature. We have the nature of man and the nature of woman, which is not just the emotional nature, it's also the physical nature. And that, as women, we do not want to confront because we know what it means. We have no foot to stand on. We are physically weak compared to men. The only demographic of human beings on this planet that women have an advantage over are children. The patriarchy is what keeps us safe. Because if you take those laws away, again, we have nature. We have the nature of man and the nature of woman, which is not just the emotional nature, it's also the physical nature. And that, as women, we do not want to confront because we know what it means. We have no foot to stand on. We are physically weak compared to men. The only demographic of human beings on this planet that women have an advantage over are children. And we utilize that advantage as well. So without the structure of patriarchy, you would have men dominating women, women dominating children, and children dominating each other. That's the way it works. That's the totem pole of power. And as he stated in this video, as a culture, we are obsessed with violence and strength and dominance. What it boils down to, the anger that's in a lot of women. We're jealous of men. And I don't care what you say to me. That is the truth. Because you know what physical strength means. You know what dominance means. And you know you don't have it. So you're trying to write it into history. And good luck with that. Good luck with trying to write something fantastical. Yeah, you might end up with a movie like Avatar. Visually beautiful, fantastical. But in real life, it doesn't make sense. It's not going to happen. There are no blue people. You might have movies like She-Hulk and other films where women have an unimaginable amount of strength, where they can go toe-to-toe with men. But as we know, that is not real life, right? And feminism is not real life.
Okay, guys, so I just got finished watching this woman's video, and I literally had to take a 10-second breath to control my emotion and to really think about what was going on here, right? Because first off, I think this is a fucking he-she type person. I don't even think that's a real woman. I think that's a dude who turned into a woman or something, right? Because if it is, she's a sad excuse of a real woman, right? Because first off, feminism is not about outstrengthening or outstrong-arming a man. Feminism is about equality in your humanity and giving women the right to have real autonomy over their lives, the choices they want to have with their body, and just seeing women as human beings, full-grown adults, the way every single real man, I'm not talking about males, right, looks at another male. That's what that is. That's what feminism is. That was the whole push when those enslaved black women fought for rights for enslaved women, went to court to fight for the freedom of their children, the ownership of their children, went to fight in court for declaring themselves as human beings and not property. She said and he said that patriarchy is protection for women. And if patriarchy disappeared, basically what would you have? You would have a real democracy, and you would have real equality if everyone was on the same page. Now, let me just be real clear about stuff, because I know a lot of people don't ever want to think about real life events and real world history when it comes to women busting ass and taking no fucking prisoners, right? So from the dawn of time, you started out with the baddest bitch on the planet at the time, and that was Lilith. Lilith wasn't going for the shit, so she got thrown out, right? Then you fast forward, you have legendary queens who ruled armies of men and women, and were some of the fiercest fucking women to ever hit the battlefield, right? Queen Nzinga is the first one that comes to mind, followed by many others, right? And even Shaka Zulu's mother, Nandi. So you have all these women, and when you fast forward to today, you have elite special forces where women are trained in combat and hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, weapons, and etc. in countries like Japan, India, Africa. There's probably even some here in America that we don't know of, especially in the Marines, right? There have always been women assassins, and women possess the very savage, very barbaric personality and darkness to go to a place men probably can never venture when we turn into a savage, right? Women like this idiot that was in the film, in the video before me, they continue to want to play these games where they want to pretend to be weak. They want to try to always convince women to be in fear of men and in fear of their real capabilities. And all of this is to continue the control of women. We just talked about this the other night on my live. When women are fearful of men, which they should never be, because men are men just like women are women. We both have the same anatomy. What kills me kills him. And since I'm smaller than him, I have somewhat more of a greater advantage. And it has nothing to do with a strength mechanism, because we all know that there are women out here that are way stronger than men, way bigger than men. We see women that lift weights, body build, deadlift, do all types of, any type of fighting forms. It is a matter of conditioning yourself, learning the skill or craft, executing it with complete conviction, and understanding that when you convince yourself and dedicate yourself to learning and doing something, no one on this earth can stop you. And no one is stronger than you or automatically going to best you or be able to destroy you once you really fight back. Now, if you just stand there, like, I'm going to bring this up. I know it's in poor taste, but I am going to bring it up. If you just stand there like Miss Hood did, right, when she was fighting against that severely off-balanced, weak black male who was swinging wildly like the majority of them do because they really don't know how to fight, when you just stand there and take punches or eat blows, right, you will get hurt because you're not doing anything to help yourself. And this is what this, I don't even know what that is on this TikTok, right? I think it's a dude trying to be a woman. It looks like one, right? But anyway, that's what that thing is trying to convince you of. That somehow you are innately weak. You can never be strong. You can never have the will to defend yourself. That is such a lie, okay? You, like I said, you have all types of things in this world that women are involved in and that women know how to do to defend themselves and others around them. And there have been historical things that have happened in this world when women just get fed up and tired of dealing with men's bullshit. As a matter of fact, just recently in India, maybe like a year or two ago, there was a certain area where women trying to come home at night and just going about their business during the day and night, they had started being attacked by the local men in their area, like robbing them, harassing them, beating them, harming them. So the women in that town got together and they formed like a, I wouldn't say a neighborhood watch, but like a defense watch for women. They went and they didn't even learn to fight. They just went out in huge groups with bamboo sticks. Now, if you know anything about bamboo is extremely hard to break, and it is tough. When it hits the body, it has the tendency to bust the skin open the way that a whip would do, because of how, whatever the fuck bamboo is made of, right? So these women would patrol the streets at night and they would beat the living shit out of men they found harassing and violating women. So that story and many, many more that I'm not going to sit here and go through, right? It's just a small example of you understanding that it is not about the gender of how dangerous a person can be. It has everything to do with the intention, the skill level, and the follow through. Like, you don't even have to know how to fight. You don't even know how to do anything. You just have to have a killer instinct. And when I say a killer instinct, I mean, let's take the example of what this man said about women walking down the street late at night, and you definitely for certain, that's a Louisiana thing where I'm from, for certain, right? Know that this person wants to do you some harm as you're walking towards them. All right. Say you don't have weapons on you, but you at least have on some heels or a pen in your bag or anything you could use as a dagger. There's several things you could do to that person. Well, if you don't know how to fight, you won't know it. But if you use anything as a weapon, you can very seriously or fatally seriously injure this person. And you don't have to be strong. You don't even have to be really serious about what you're doing. You could just get lucky or injure the person enough to the point where they just die anyway. So everything that this man is saying is bullshit. Everything she's saying is cowardly shit to try to convince women to be weak and to be submissive to male domination, misogyny, and continuing the life that we are currently living, where all of these guys are trying to come together no matter how they have to keep us as like living slaves to men, keep us having their children, being in marriages we don't want to be in, everything to have us catering to them and making sure that we keep thinking that we need them, when we don't need them. And even in straight honest, the way it really would be, have y'all ever seen movies like The Purge? If they ever got rid of all the laws tomorrow, that's literally what would happen outside. But do you know what else would happen? Like everything with human nature, the stronger people would band together and they would take out the weaker ones first. And then the strongest of the strong would battle each other. And it would definitely be women in those groups. Because me, myself, I would just walk outside with weapons, and the very first person that challenged me, I would kill him instantly. I would not even offer them an opportunity to injure me, speak to me, anything. I would just step up to him as quickly as I could and kill him immediately. And see, this is, like I said, the killer instinct. So this is the type of thing that all of these people, these type of idiots that come on trying to always paint women as these weak things that are never capable of doing anything to anyone, because, we're not human beings like men. We don't have emotions and we don't have mental illness and a killer instinct and the ability to fucking go off. We're just the empty suit. We're just somebody everybody could just kick in their ass and throw around anytime they want to, because we don't got no backbone, according to this shit that she's talking about in this video. When all of us women out here who are not scary and who know that if it comes down to somebody trying to hurt my children, hurt my family, or hurt me, I am going to definitely take that person off this earth. There is no question about that shit. None. And I would not give a fuck if the man was as big as a building. I would chop him down first and then completely take him out. Everybody has feet. Everybody has legs, knees, thighs, a midsection, a chest, arms, neck, and a head. If you got to chop down every part of that body until it stops moving, or you could conquer it, then that's what you would do. And it's really that simple. There are so many people out here not playing that are women when it comes to people thinking that they could just physically get strong on them and force them to do stuff. It's not funny. So the type of reality this thing is talking about on the video, and that very delusional man, is totally like out of control. Do you know how many ways I could bust that man's head open? It's not even funny. And he's sitting there talking about who would be more afraid, a woman or a man. Well, it depends on the woman, and it frankly depends on the man. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody out here is not somebody to fuck with. And just because it's a woman, don't always assume that she does not have the ability to kill you. Because everybody has the ability to end somebody else. And it has nothing to do with a guy being stronger than a woman. Okay, you're stronger today, strong at the moment. But if women went out of their way to do what most countries do with women in every other country but America, and send them to the military right along with sending their men, then I would be very careful about talking about women being so weak and inferior to men. Because when you have the same skill set, well, then it's not a matter of strength. It's a matter of timing and a matter of how you apply those skills to destroy your opponent. And that's really what it is. And I know firsthand, when you take a person that does not know how to fight and you introduce them to fighting, weapons, and understanding that anatomy is the same in everyone, and when you stop the functioning of certain parts of someone's anatomy, it doesn't really matter how big or strong they are. They're going to die just the same as a huge person or a very, very small person. So there is no fear in this world. The only fear is in the person not having any confidence or belief in themselves and having no heart to try to carry out any violence against another person that is harming them or killing them. I mean, they don't think about things in real terms because it's always about trying to convince women to be these pussies that go along with anything men say. It goes back to the video that I had showed in my last live where when Dr. Umar was telling that very ignorant dude, talking about, oh, I'm just trying to find a woman that you know has her head right, and he was trying to say didn't have children by another man when he said by another woman. I said, let me know how a woman impregnates a woman. Okay, but anyway, he said that, but what he meant was I'm trying to find a woman that doesn't have babies by another man and who has the right mindset where, you know, basically where she's going to allow him to abuse her, use her, do anything he wants to her that is pleasing to him, not care about anything about herself or whatever she wants in life, and just to be going along with anything he has to say. And literally, like that other hotep in another video I put up, call him master, or be reduced to a slave, or a literal dog, the way they call you a bitch, because you're not supposed to have any aspirations in life. You're not supposed to want anything, not even your freedom and your right to a real democracy, to walk around in a world where people act like they're full-blown adults, where the first thing that comes to their mind isn't violence. It is leave this person alone and let them go about their business, because I don't know them. And if they show me or tell me they don't want any interactions with me, leave them the fuck alone. Be adult enough to know, leave people alone when they don't want to be bothered with you. Because when you push people to their breaking point, they will do something. And it may cost your life, because you never know. And then that person might not be the only person you have to deal with. It might be another person walking by or who is related to that person that can most definitely do something to you. So it has absolutely nothing to do with a gender thing. And I really get tired of that whole thing about, oh, men are just inherently stronger than women. No, they're not. No, they're not. Like I said, if women were taught to be strong the same way they're taught to be weak, you would never want to run around saying that, because you would know. If a woman does push-ups the same as a man, is she going to walk around looking like a man? No. But is she going to have the same ability to fight and defend herself and have the same amount of stamina? Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And is she going to be able to kill many men or fight many men? Yes, she will. Yes, she will. Because the whole thing is about your body's condition when you are dealing with fighting another person. If you're in weak condition or frail condition, there's not much you can do with anyone, not even a child. But if you are a person who was taught to, like they used to do back in the days, I'm talking about like back in the ancient days of Greece with Sparta. Sparta was a city in ancient Greece where every fucking body was strong. Men, women, and children. They ain't play that weak shit. Matter of fact, if you were born with any type of affliction or disability, they killed you at birth. They did not play that shit. Everybody had to be a gladiator. And it is a mindset that people in society are constantly trying to do, which is to try to defeat women mentally, because you guys are always talking about that bullshit book, The Art of War, right? But basically what it is a book about mind fucking people. So if you teach women to be weak, they will be weak. If you teach women to be strong, to believe in themselves and defend themselves, which is what feminism really started out being, and then it turned into the whole equality thing, right? You will have a different type of people, a different breed of women, right? But when we talk about the physicality of things, everybody, including a child, can learn to be strong and learn to become dangerous. So all this stuff this white man is talking about, and this whatever that is talking that looks like a woman, listen, it's all to convince women that they're inferior to men and that they should not ever try to move out from under men, have anything in life besides wanting to please men in every way. You should never want anything in life, because if you do, then the big bad men are going to release their true nature, which is a savage beast. I guess they're all going to turn into werewolves and kill everybody, because they're that dangerous, they're that tough, they're that ferocious, right? And my thing is, if that's the case, then why haven't you all, if you're so rough and tough and so dangerous and can't control yourself, why haven't you just killed everybody off in the world already? Because none of what he's saying is true. Because if these dudes are holding back some Jekyll and Hyde, that's severely, my money would be on the fact that they would really be a Jekyll and Hyde, where the savage beast that really lies beneath and inside them would not be able to contain themselves for so long and bust out, and it would just be crazy, just anarchy all over the world, right? And it has nothing to do with laws, because believe me, when people are determined, we see it every day with crime, they don't give a fuck about no law. They will go kill somebody, steal from somebody, do whatever they want, and then worry about that shit afterwards. So that is not an excuse either. But I digress. None of that really means anything to me. What does mean something to me is the fact that this society sends all these type of fucking, like, I think this woman is like a industry plant, right? Her and many others always coming to try to tear down the women's movement for autonomy. They're always, I mean, you see them everywhere. You got this woman talking about how feminism is a joke, and she's an idiot, because if she is a real woman, that's the last thing you want to be saying, is that the right for women to have equality under the law and to be seen as a full-fledged human being the same way as a man does in society is totally crazy when you are a woman, Then on top of that, The fact that you have all these industry plants all over the place trying to kill the women's movement, the rappers like the Sexy Red person who, after all this black femicide, all this black female human trafficking and organ trafficking and prostitution and domestic violence and STD skyrocketing through our communities, and black women catching AIDS and HIV from these dudes being on the down low and all this craziness, she's gonna come out and try to turn all the women's heads around who are trying to get their lives together to go back to having risky sex, dealing with bums who are more likely to kill them because they can't control themselves, and the women they usually deal with are very weak-minded, low self-esteem having women. So those women are losing the battle before they even enter the war because they don't have no fucking backbone and no heart to stand up for themselves or even stop somebody from hurting them because they're weak people to begin with. And these are the things that all of these people that are in this video are trying to promote and trying to convince you of that you're in a losing battle before you even begin, when you know you're not. You see women every day on these apps, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, lifting weights, bodybuilding, speaking to you about body positivity. And I don't mean that fat bitch Lizzo. I'm talking about like your health, taking your life and your existence in this world seriously, not living in the shadow of a dude or feeling ignorantly, as this woman, this, I guess, presenting woman is saying, where you run around feeling like, oh, poor me, I'm the damsel in distress, you know, anyone could come, violate me, kill me, plunder me, because I have absolutely no way of protecting myself because I'm just so weak in comparison to these so strong, superhuman males. That is such a crock of shit, it's not even funny. When you work out every day, even if it's like, you don't even have to do it every day, but I'm just talking. If you work out constant on a regular, I guess, like, I don't know, a regular routine or just regularly, and you do basic calisthenics, your body will begin to build everything it needs to make you strong. I mean, like, your whole frame will be, your skeletal frame will increase, the muscles on your body will increase, and you will just be strong. Stronger than if you're weak, sitting around living a sedentary life where you're sitting on the couch all day, drinking, drugging, never taking care of your physical body and the things to keep your body in its prime and to always have it looking and performing at its top peak. You have women that you have seen on YouTube and in real life where they have started went back to take care of their bodies and work out at like age 50 or 60, and now they're like 70, 80 years old with a body of like a 20, 30-year-old, muscles everywhere, and they just fine fucking tone. This is the type of thing. When you work on yourself and you make yourself a certain way, you don't have to fear anyone. But it starts in here. It starts in your mind, the way you think, and your mentality and your mental strength. And that is what all these videos come on here to do, which is to make you mentally weak so that you then become easily taken by anything that physically or mentally attacks you, because you're weak from here. And that makes everything else weak. You are just a walking victim. And that is what a video like this woman that came before me speaking is trying to promote. She's probably paid to do this, or she's getting, I guess, like, you know how a lot of these, I still say she's a woman presenting, right? A lot of these people on here, they like to always try to keep the shit stirring, where it's always men against women, but mostly directing this ridiculous shit at black women, because they know about the things that plague our community. Black femicide is one. And if you ever want to stop black femicide, it's not just enough to not be in a relationship with these dudes and stay away from them so that you don't get hurt, but you have to have the mental fortitude to understand why you should stay away from them, how to do it, and then be strong enough to stand your ground if somebody tries to challenge you because they feel like they're entitled to you. Those are all the things that videos like this are trying to knock you down from being able to do. You could be weak as fuck, not even weigh 100 pounds, but if you hit the gym, you take a little bit of that muscle building yeast or whatever the fuck it is those people take to build their muscles, and you work out, and then plus go learn to fight somewhere, or just get strong and just shadow box or whatever it is you do, you will be able to fight somebody. You will have a level of duration in your body where even if you cannot throw a punch, you will be able to grapple with that person until you tire that person out. This is absolutely true. I would not lie to you. I have done all this type of shit my entire life. And believe me when I tell you, everybody doesn't have to look like like a wrestler to be strong and physically effective. You don't. So don't think that's always the case, because it's not. But if you think you're weak and you train and convince yourself to be weak, you will be weak. But if you train and convince yourself that you are strong, you will be strong. I kid you not. I kid you not. Before I was taught to fight, before I was taught to shoot, before I was taught to use knives, I didn't think I could do it until somebody showed me how to do it. And then I got proficient in it, and then I started to like it a lot, and then it became like second nature to me. So none of that shit they're talking about is true, because we all learn in this life. And believe me, if you're a person with a working mind and something happens to you and you get hurt, let's say, and you survive, wouldn't you from that day forward do everything you can to train to make sure that you don't get hurt by that thing again? Because it's not enough to avoid it, because if you live in the world, you'll probably encounter it again, you know? So it's like, you have got to stop letting these people like try to scare you into compliance, because that's all this shit is about. Women are doing good right now. They're not getting married. They're not having children. They're living healthy, safe, independent lives. And that is making the male power structure scared, because they have no one to fulfill their sexual needs. They have no one to go along and enable their bullshit when it comes to like trying to victimize women and victimize children. As women get stronger and they stick up for themselves and they understand their place in defending themselves, they do the same for children, which is not being done when you're living, thriving, and submitting to a patriarchy. And it's really not even about patriarchy when you really think about it, because if you enforce and demand your rights, and you demand to be respected, and you demand certain changes in the world we live in, you will eventually have something that we should already have. It's called equality. And from equality comes democracy. That's all you want. You don't need to worry about who's stronger, who's weaker. How does that matter, really, when you really think about it? If someone attacks you and you're not prepared to fight back, you're going to lose. It doesn't matter how strong you are or not strong. But if someone attacks you and you're prepared to fight, it still doesn't matter how strong or weak you are. You have the ability to best that person because you are prepared. So none of this shit makes no sense. It's not about men and women, because truth be told, it could be a little child. You give them a knife and you teach them how to use that knife on a man or a woman, and they're going to kill that man or woman, period. Because there's no human being whose skin is knife proof, bulletproof, or any other weapon proof. That's it. And even sometimes if you don't have a weapon, if you're able to injure people in certain areas of their body very quickly, they're going to die too. They're going to die just the same from the injury. So everything they're talking about just doesn't make sense. Think about like in places where people do have to fight for their life every day, where they're living in the middle of civil wars and they have coups going on in their countries and stuff. You think those people sitting around in some fucking corner of their home shivering, talking about, oh, you know, I'm just a woman, I'm weak, I got no defenses, let me just sit here and wait for somebody to come kill me brutally? No, they're not. They're packing their shit, they're moving to safety, and in that journey of moving to safety, they're carrying blades, they're prepared to take somebody's life. They're not fucking around. And that's the same way it would be if, as this man said, they took away laws. Nobody would be fucking playing outside. Not one person, down to the children, would be playing outside. They would not be playing. And there are countries in this world where there are gangs of little children that are more deadly than grown women and men, because people underestimate them. So it's like, listen, everything they're talking about is just basically stupidity. And it's just a way to try to keep women in their place. Well, if you like me, I don't have a place in this world. I do what I want because I'm a grown person and I'm an individual entitled to the same liberties of any fucking man. That's how I feel. You let me know how you feel. Later, y'all. Fuck that shit. Women can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Good night.